Hello friend, this is me Sanjay Pradhan. So today I am discussing about the new topic, that is the salient features of the Indian Constitution. First of all, what are the meaning of the Indian Constitution? So if you see, Indian Constitution says that specific some rule and principle which is the regulated to the people and regulated to the all citizen of the India, that is the defined under the Indian Constitution. So this is the most important of the Indian Constitution, and today I am discussing about the main features of the Indian Constitution. Main features. First is the lengthiest Constitution of India. If you see others Constitution, one is the American Constitution. American Constitution has total 7 article, and another Constitution, that is the Australian Constitution, has total 128 article. And if you see Indian Constitution has total 395 article originally, and now has total article 448 article. Okay, so Indian Constitution, it is the written constitution and big constitution in world. It is the most lengthiest constitution. Okay. Point number two is the parliamentary form of government. Our government and our government system and government body, the system is the parliamentary government. Our government is the responsibility to the parliament. It is the follow on the Indian British Constitution. British Constitution is the same, and British government is the responsibility to the British parliament. It is the adopt by the from the British government. Okay, so the prime minister and government is the responsibility to the parliament, and parliament every time asks to the question by the opposition leader, and government must be bound answer to the opposition and to the parliament. Okay, but if you see similarly, US system is the presidential. It's not a parliamentary. US president is not bound to the Congress. That is the presidential system. Okay. Third one is the rigidity and flexibility. Our constitution is such most important features, and two features, most important two features, that is the rigidity and flexibility, which means we cannot change easily of our constitution. That is the rigidity, but we can change a special provision as the by the amendment. Total member of the house, one third majority, by the amendment you can change of the constitution is the rigidity and flexibility. You can add it, you can change this by amendment. It can maybe flexibility with the original general amendment, with the special amendment, and the general and or special and behalf of the state amendment. But three elements in the flexibility, and if you see our constitution is the changes, and total as present time total 105 amendment of the Indian Constitution, and it is the changes to the generation to the generation. Okay. Next point is the fundamental rights. Fundamental rights is the main important rights of the people. Okay, which is the defined part 3 of the Indian Constitution. It is the most important right of the people. If violate of your fundamental right, you can go to the directly Supreme Court used by the Article 32 of the Indian Constitution if you violate of your fundamental right, which is a defined part 3 of the Indian Constitution. Similarly, if you see Article 226 has power to go to the directly high court for get your fundamental rights. If the fundamental right violated by the any law and by the any situation, you can go to the directly court. That is the main features of the Indian Constitution. Okay, this constitution right provide by the fundamental rights to the citizen of India and citizen of maybe non-citizen, both of the portion. And point number 5 is the directive principle of the state policy. Directive principle of the state policy, the short name is the DPSP. DPSP means then adopt from the Ireland Constitution. That is the main aim is of the DPSP. It is the power of the state government and the Indian government. Those government has some object and aim of the citizen of India, the citizen of country, and any other person. So the state makes certain rule and certain principle and certain policy for the citizen of India, but this policy and rules you cannot go to the court against the policy and rules. That is the DPSC. It is not a justiciable court of law. Okay, it is not justiciable, but we has power change to the government by the election. That is the democratic country. Is a one man one vote, the most powerful. If the government fail of our policy of our making law, we can change to the government. Okay, it's the directive principle of the state policy. Okay, point number 6 is the distribution of power. Our power distribution by the Indian constitution to the union and to the state. Has both government, the union government and to the and has state government is the federal structure of the Indian constitution. Our constitution, our country is the federalism. Okay, federal. So power and has make law by the in parliament and by the state legislature, and that is the same define the state list and union list and concurrent list. The both of the parliament and legislature, both of the portion can make law concurrent list. Okay, it's the distribution of power and basically the difference of the distribution of power and power distribution by the Indian constitution. Okay, and point number 7 is the independence of the judiciary. So every time ask one question, our judiciary is the independence? Yes, my answer is yes. Our independent, our judiciary is the independence, because if you say without independence of the judiciary, our democracy system cannot exist in our country. Okay, because why? If you see judgment of the court and order of the court and any decree of the court, that is the completely independent. It can maybe against the government, it can maybe against the some citizen, but every time if you see independence of the judiciary is the most important as a protect of the constitution. Without it is not possible, because judiciary is the guardian of the fundamental right. Okay, so main and basic feature of the independence of the judiciary, if you see appointment of the judges, tenure of the judges and transfer of the judges, it is the completely and salary of the judges, that is the completely independent. So independence of the judiciary is the most important for of our democratic country. Without it is not possible to protect of our constitution, because constitution is the supreme law of the land. Okay, our country always binding by the constitution. Okay, so constitution is the main provision of the India. Citizen, the judiciary can declare unconstitutional of this law and any particular law of the position which is the defined under Article 13 of our Indian Constitution. So this power has High Court and Supreme Court apply judicial review. Okay, it's the most important of our Indian Constitution. Thank you, friend. If this video helped you, please do subscribe my channel. Point number 8 is the secular state. Secular state means is the secularism. Secularism is the added 42nd amendment of the Indian Constitution. So it is the basic structure of the Indian Constitution. Secularism means is the state shall not treat equally based on the religion, but the state shall state man to man and has no any particular religion in our country, and has equal right of the right of the religion and right to the people of the religion, and every people has right to exercise of our religion, which is provided by the Indian Constitution. That is the defined Article 25 to Article 28 of the Indian Constitution. It is the basic structure of the Indian Constitution. And secularism is the right to religion is the fundamental rights of the Indian Constitution. And point number 9 is the single citizenship. Single citizenship. India has a single citizenship. We are citizen of India. Okay, that is the single citizenship. But if you see others country, that is the America. America has dual citizenship. One is the citizen of America, and second is the citizen of State of America. Okay, that is the dual citizenship. But India has a single citizenship. We are citizen of India. If you see in Union side and if you see state side, both of the side we are citizen of India. Okay. Point number 10 is the fundamental duties. Fundamental duties, which is defined part 4A of the Indian Constitution, and that is the added by the 42nd Amendment, and this time was total 10 fundamental duties of the Indian Constitution. And after 86 amendment has total um, 11 fundamental duties of the Indian Constitution. For example, respect to the national flag, and respect to the national anthem, and respect to the and protect of our sovereignty and integrity, and protect of the public property and other etc. Okay. Point number 11 is the separation of power. Separation of power is the most important of our Indian Constitution. Separation of power has our Constitution under three organs. That is the legislature, executive, and third is the judiciary. So first is the legislature. Legislature has separation of power, which is the makes law and certain provision and principle for the citizen of India and for the benefit of the citizen. Okay, and this law implemented by the executive. Okay, it is separation has no connection, but this law executed by the executive, and main role by the judiciary. Judiciary has right and duties to protect of the right of the people. If this law violate right of the people, this law can be justiciable under the judiciary. But judiciary is the independent body. But if the law violate right of the people, the judiciary can interfere. The executive can interfere to the executive. Okay, and legislature. Okay. Point number 12 is the rule of law. Rule of law is the most important of the Indian Constitution, which is the provided by the evidence. It says is the three principle of the Indian the rule of law. First is the supremacy of the law. Okay, means is the law is the supreme law of the land. Absence of the arbitrariness. Law made by the parliament. This law is the supreme of the law of the land. If suppose if you see you does not obey of our law, you may be punishable under the law, because law is the supremacy law of the land. Okay, and absence of the arbitrariness. And second point is under the rule of law, that is the equality before law. Equality before law is the defined under 14 of the Indian Constitution. Article 14 of the Indian Constitution says that equality before law. So equality before law means that every person shall be treated equally before the law. So and every person will be equally. But equality before law is not an absolute right of the citizen. And third number point, third principle is the constitution is the ordinary law of the land according to the evidence. But but this principle not follow of the Indian Constitution, because our constitution is the supremacy law of the land. Okay, so we are must be bound follow of our constitution, that is the supremacy of our Indian Constitution. And last point, and the 13th point is the judicial review. Judicial review is the most important parliament made law, and this law implemented by the executive. But judiciary has power by use of our judicial review, because judicial review is the basic features of our Indian Constitution. So this power has High Court and Supreme Court apply judicial review. Okay, it's the most important of our Indian Constitution. Thank you, friend.